Hey everybody, it's Tim and welcome to Winning Wednesday, the sales video email. So today I want to talk about how you handle a downturn. So whether or not you think there's a downturn, there is. The governments, global governments have actually been propping up spending so it doesn't feel so bad, but if you don't think we're in a downturn now, we're going to go into a downturn at some point. And if not now, later, right? It's happening at some point in your lifetime. So if you, whether or not you believe that it's going to happen now, let's just pay attention. So when it comes up, you'll sort of think about how to handle it. So in classical business thinking, if you actually see a downturn coming, the very first thing you want to do is hoard as much cash as you possibly can, because that cash will make you safe. It'll help you get through the downturn. And that's cool if you are a big, predictable business with predictable revenues and predictable expenses. You know, that all works. But if you are a rapidly growing or young business and you don't have predictability, or your customers don't have predictability, because lots of small businesses work with other small businesses and small businesses are fragile, so you may not have as much predictability as you think. So you have got to think, okay, I don't make enough money to save a bunch to make myself safe, right? And that's because growing businesses and emerging businesses don't work on reserves, they work on cash flow. So the way that you can make yourself the most safe in a downturn is to get rid of that classical business thinking around save and be safe. And I'm not saying you shouldn't save, but you should be realistic that if you're less than sort of $100,000 or $200,000 a month in revenue, guess what? You don't make enough to be able to save meaningfully. So you need to think about, how do I accelerate my cash flow? Because that's what growing businesses work on. They don't work from reserves. They work from incoming cash flow. So how do you do that? So there's three things I want you to think about. Number one, lead generation. So every one of you has something in lead generation that works. Otherwise you wouldn't be in business. So whatever that is, double down on it until it breaks. Do more of it. If it's organic marketing, do more of it. If it's paid search, do more of it. If it's Upwork, do more of it. Because you have got to amplify your pipeline, because guess what? Other businesses, as they sense bad things coming, they slow down their spending, and so that will make your sales process longer. So the way you accommodate for a longer sales process is to put more people in the pipeline. Now, additionally, you may want to add additional channels to your lead generation. I'm all in favor of that. Do it, but don't make it a sort of, do things that feel like you already have an understanding what's going on there. If you've never run Facebook ads, to generate money, this may not be the right time to start, because there's a learning curve. And when I mean learning curve, I mean wasted money curve that you may not want to go through. But if something works for you, double down. If it's cold email, great, send 1,000 more. If it's Upwork, send out 40 more proposals. Do whatever you can to amplify your pipeline. Now, that's number one. Number two, another way to accelerate into the downturn is if you actually have one offer. Let's say your offer is $2,500 a month for campaign management. Cool, awesome, great price, good service, great value. Well, if you're on the other side of that, $2,500 a month, if you're not sure of what's happening next, might feel pretty dear, right? It might feel really rich. So, as a provider, this could be a great time to create a downsell offer. And by a downsell offer, I don't mean discounting your price. A downsell offer is actually functionally a different offering at a lower price. So if you're that $2,500 a month company, you might actually put together a 3-month package that has less of what you do, and it's whatever, $4,500 over 3 months, or maybe you put together a done with you option that's is $500 or something. So if you've been successful enough to get somebody to the offer, and they can't do it because it costs too much money right now because they're afraid of what's happening next, I want you to have a step down. I want you to have a fallback. I want you to be able to monetize that effort that got them to the offer stage, right? And so that can be a package. It can be, it can be a done with you thing, something. It could be, a consultation, whatever. But try to monetize those at bats, because that will, first of all, get you customers. And once those customers are in your universe and they're paying you, guess what? They're going to continue to pay you. And so that will help you accelerate. Now, the third thing, so we've got lead gen, right? And we've got, and then we're talking about step down offers. The third thing that I really, really want you to think about is, how do you differentiate yourself? Because you have to have an extraordinary value to be hired during extraordinary times. For a long time, for the last decade, frankly, agency business and startup business was pretty easy to get. Well, guess what? Things have changed a little bit, and so you now have to think, okay, am I well priced? Do I have a really fantastic lead offer? And do I have a really fantastic lead generation program? And then you've got to figure out the value. What is your undeniable value? How do you stand out? And so this can be process. It can be insight. It can be the way that your team is run. It could be technology. It could be a whole bunch of different things. But you know what that is already. Again, because you wouldn't be in business if you didn't have something that was a little bit different. You've got to find that and expose it right now, because it's that kind of differentiation that will help you stand out enough to overcome the fear and the delay that other companies might put on you. Okay? So I want you to accelerate, really think about accelerating into this downturn, because you need to maximize your cash flow. You need to increase your client velocity. And the way you're going to do that, double down on lead gen. Whatever you're doing, do it more until it breaks. Keep on doing it. Add another channel that you feel good about, not one you got to learn about. Okay? Do it. Increase the amplitude of your pipeline. Have your standard offer. Have a step-down package or a step-down training or a consulting or some sort of step-down offer, so you can monetize people who get to the offer table. Number 3, figure out how you stand out, because it is that sort of differentiation that makes it safer for scared companies to spend money with you. Because as we know, you can't save yourself through a downturn. You don't have enough free cash flow to save enough to last through a big long downturn. Okay? And that's not a judgment. That's the truth. If you're under, say, $200,000 a month, it is really hard to put together a big pile of cash. So, I want you to accelerate into the downturn. Okay? And by the way, as you guys can see this is a T-shirt from a new business that I have with my kids called The Human Clothiers. It says "Fear Less, Love More." Buy to humanclothiers.com, and that was a gross and ugly pitch, and I want you to take advantage of it. Take care. See you next week.